SummerSlam 2025 will forever be remembered as the night the foundations of WWE shook to their core, a night when the unthinkable became reality, when bitter rivals put aside years of destruction, pride, and animosity to stand shoulder to shoulder against a common enemy, and the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar, fresh from a thunderous, world-shaking return, and the tribal chief Roman Reigns, the dominant force of an entire era, joined forces in an alliance that nobody could have predicted. The night began like any other major WWE spectacle, with the promise of championship glory, shocking returns, and legendary clashes, but it quickly spiraled into something far more dangerous when Lesnar stormed into the arena, his eyes locked in predatory focus, and without a single word lifted John Cena into the air before planting him into the mat with an F5 that sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. That act alone was enough to dominate headlines, but what came next transformed an already historic night into a full-scale war declaration. Paul Heyman, the man who had once been the architect behind both Lesnar's and Reigns' historic runs, appeared by Seth Rollins' side, revealing that his loyalty had shifted entirely to Rollins' new faction, the Vision, a dangerous powerhouse unit featuring the raw, unrelenting force of Bronson Reed and the explosive athleticism of Braun Breaker. The message was clear: Heyman had turned his back on the old guard, casting aside the men who had brought him to the top in favor of building a new dynasty, one that would seize control of WWE's future by dismantling its most feared warriors. Earlier in the evening, Reigns and Jey Uso had survived a punishing battle against Reed and Breaker, showcasing the experience, chemistry, and cunning that had kept them at the top, with Roman spearing Reed nearly in half and Jey sealing the win with a perfect top rope splash. But even in victory, the seeds of betrayal were already growing backstage, with Heyman plotting a far more dangerous assault. As the night moved forward, Rollins took to the ring to declare the end of an era, mocking the tribal chief as a dethroned relic and calling the Beast a fossil, promising that the Vision would erase them both from history. But just as his words dripped with arrogance, Roman's music hit, and the crowd roared at the sight of the tribal chief striding to the ring, only for that roar to explode into chaos when Brock Lesnar's theme followed, the sight of both men standing side by side sending the arena into a frenzy. There were no handshakes, no smiles, no theatrics, just a silent, deadly agreement that tonight was about destruction. What followed was pure carnage. Bronson Reed charged and was speared into the mat by Reigns. Braun Breaker was launched across the ring by one of Lesnar's devastating German suplexes, and Seth Rollins was driven through the announce table by a thunderous spear while Breaker was sent crashing into oblivion courtesy of an F5. The attack was so violent, so decisive, that WWE officials had no choice but to book a massive tag team match for the next premium live event: Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar vs. Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, with Heyman lurking at ringside and Breaker undoubtedly waiting to strike from the shadows. Within minutes, social media exploded with hashtags like #BeastandTribal, #VisionUnderSiege, and #HeymanBetrayal, with fans calling the alliance the most shocking pairing since Stone Cold and Triple H formed the two-man power trip. UFC legend Daniel Cormier even weighed in, calling the partnership more terrifying than any fight card he'd ever seen. The possibilities were endless: Lesnar vs. Breaker in a generational clash of monsters, Roman vs. Seth for ultimate retribution, or even a Survivor Series elimination match pitting Reigns, Lesnar, and the Usos against Rollins, Reed, Breaker, and mystery allies. But as history has shown, alliances between alphas are fragile, and while their current goal is to wipe the Vision off the map, the day will inevitably come when the Beast and the tribal chief collide again, perhaps even before the faction is destroyed. For now, however, one truth remains: Paul Heyman's betrayal has birthed one of the deadliest alliances in WWE history, and with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns united, the Vision's days may be numbered, because when these two predators hunt together, no one, no matter how dangerous, is safe.